I really believe that underwhelming album covers can seriously hinder the reception and success of an overall musical product. Like, if the visuals of the album cover I'm staring at while listening to these songs don't match the vibe I'm going for, it's gonna feel underwhelming or in some ways disappointing. There are a couple of album covers that always come to mind for me, but this idea was actually brought up by a comment I received a little while ago from someone named Yahaira. I don't know if you still watch my channel, but I didn't forget about this. I've just been taking some time to gather my thoughts because I think this conversation can be quite complex. Considering album covers are a form of artwork, all of this is, of course, subjective. I may dislike a certain album cover where another person either really likes it or feels indifferent about it. They really don't care. That's why I specifically want to focus on album covers that feel underwhelming. Like there could have been more to them rather than album covers that are perceived as just bad or ugly. The person who commented, Yahaira, pointed out that Red Velvet's Russian Roulette digital album cover was kind of boring, especially when comparing it to the physical album cover. And up until reading that comment, I never really paid much attention to Russian Roulette's album cover. Again, all of this is subjective. I do agree that the physical album cover captures the essence of the album the most, but I also have never really minded the digital album cover. I think the graphic design kind of pulled through here. Maybe if it was just text with no iconography with the arrow going through the hearts, I would have thought it was boring too. I think the graphic design kind of saves this album cover, just barely pulling it out of minimalism and into some sort of in-between area. It's certainly not maximalism, but I also wouldn't consider this minimalistic, or at least not entirely. It's certainly minimalistic in design. There could have been so much more to it, especially for a group like Red Velvet, and in the world of K-pop, minimalistic album designs like these can be a little jarring or disorienting, which then begs the question, in all of K-pop's maximalist charms, why is it that so many album covers are simply just text or some kind of iconography? I believe that this is for a couple of reasons. So while boring, a text or icon-based album cover does not feature the members of the group to the company's benefit. First, I'm sure it's a lot less expensive to mass print graphic design album covers versus more complex photography of the group. Second, avoiding featuring any pictures of the members saves the company from a lot of potential backlash over center distribution. I think Twice can represent this issue quite well. I think literally every standardized album cover in their discography has featured a photo with the members on it, except for Between 1 and 2. I made a video on Between 1 and 2 and how the album cover originally did have a photo of the members. There seems to be a couple of reasons as to why the cover was changed, but I know a huge contributor, if not the number one factor, was the outcry by fans over center distribution on album covers. You know, if so many comebacks go around and Chewie or Dahyun are always placed on the side of the album photo and never make it to the center, obviously Chewie and Dahyun fans are going to be upset, right? There's a lot of politics that go into photography-based album covers for that reason. I think that's also why Twice's physical album covers as of recently are so bland. Literally, they're blank album covers with text, and the workaround for this political situation is that the albums come with stickers of the group and or members that fans can put on the front cover. I don't know a whole lot of people who ever use the stickers, but it is a theoretical workaround to the outrage issue, and I think a lot of companies operate with this same kind of mentality, like avoiding adding anything in reference to the members of the group also avoids a lot of unnecessary drama among the fan base, but I don't think those are the only two reasons. Sometimes I think minimalistic album covers are simply there to add to the group's concept in a weird way. Two groups in mind, I think IVE and Blackpink operate with a minimalistic aesthetic that works for them in the end. Maybe this is a controversial opinion, but I actually don't mind any of their album covers because I think it works quite well with their concept. It's a little hard to explain, but I feel like with IVE and Blackpink, their concept benefits from having such simplistic album covers that don't overthink things. I think Le Seraphim also fits into this category for me. I know a lot of people have serious problems with their album covers, but I don't know. I like the Anti-Fragile like Kintsugi album cover. I don't really mind Unforgiven's album cover, but depending on what this upcoming release looks like, I might change my stance on this. I might I might switch sides, but yeah. aespa, on the other hand, I have tried to understand the drama album cover for a while, and I really can't. I don't know what happened here, because aespa is one of those groups that sort of embodies and benefits from maximalism. They're well known for their concept and concept photos, so the album being only the stylized title doesn't really make sense to me. I do think a lot more could have been done with this, especially with the music video, trailer, and physical album in mind. So much more could have been done here, in my opinion. Maybe keep the red background, but add the silhouettes of aespa against the billboard from the music video. I don't know. But yeah, that's kind of my rough understanding or bird's eye view of underwhelming album covers. I think it just takes more involvement from the creative team to pull a concept together, and it doesn't necessarily have to always be a photo of the group. I know a lot of people who prefer album covers with graphic design over photography, and I definitely agree that sometimes it's better. I think NCT 2018, the Empathy album, is one of the best K-pop album covers of all time, in my opinion. It's just text and graphic design work, but it works, right? I think it embodies the album and the neo-culture technology concept quite well. So I'm definitely not saying that it always has to be complex design and photography-based album covers, but I also personally believe there should always be more than just text. For me, there always has to be at least one additional element that ties the project's main concept together. I think that's my personal understanding of underwhelming album covers generally. Thank you for watching this if you did. If you have anything to add, I guess what I would want to ask you is, what do you look for when it comes to album covers? I think for me, again, I don't really expect much, just some kind of tie-in to the concept of the project, so it is distinguishable from other albums. But yeah, let me know what you think, subscribe if you want to, and I'll see you next time.